Good morning, students. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you listen to me? Today is 2nd of August and we are going to discuss important news and articles from the Indian Express newspaper, right? We'll start our today's discussion with this first article of the day on the Mansa Devi temple. This is basically an unfortunate news because a stampede accident happened in this particular temple, which is located in the state of Uttarakhand. So we are going to understand various characteristics of this temple in addition to what is important from our exams perspective. Because important temples, whenever they have been in news, they have usually been asked in the prelims examination. For example, in 2011, when new parliament was being created or constructed, the older parliament, which is circular in shape, it borrowed its design from a temple known as Chaussat Yogini temple. So Chaussat Yogini temple of Morena was in prelims 2021. Similarly, next year in prelims 2022, question appeared on the Somnath temple. Why was Somnath temple picked up as a question? Because Prime Minister Modi has visited Somnath temple. So any temple that becomes important, automatically we cover them in our newspaper analysis. Therefore, we are going to cover Mansa Devi temple, right? This is important from GS paper 1 perspective, that is art and culture. Well, sorry for starting this class late. Actually, I was very hungry. So I wanted to eat something because you need energy to speak for 1 hour more. I have been speaking continuously since 8 AM in the morning. Let me see who all have come. Give me a second. Let me just set up the comment section so that I can see yours. Yeah. Now, second article we are going to cover about Sardar Udham Singh. Sardar Udham Singh was a very famous revolutionary in the Indian national struggle for freedom, and he played a very important role in rising the consciousness, and his heroic act was a symbol of standing up to the British Empire, right? So we'll understand his contribution, his life in our today's discussion, because his death anniversary was recently mourned by the government, right? So we'll understand Sardar Udham Singh in detail. I've taken this news from PIB because I've told you multiple times that whatever important news articles have been there in PIB, for the rest of the week, we'll try to cover them on Saturdays, so that no important news which have not been covered in the Indian Express misses out, okay? In the third article, we are going to cover states reorganization in India. Now, the Tamil Nadu governor, he made a statement. He said that once Indian states were reorganized based on languages, it has created a problem of many people in India. They are forced to live as a second-class citizen in a different state. So, we are going to understand the process of state reorganization in India, particularly of how the boundaries of states have changed from the time India became independent till the time very recently in 2019 when the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two separate union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So we'll try to understand what were the reasons behind division of different states into India, right? This is important from GS paper 1 perspective, that is post India's independence history, and also from polity syllabus, that is GS paper 2. Second article is important from GS paper 1 perspective because it deals with a functionary who used to function in India's modern history, right? In the fourth article, which is again from PIB, this is an article important from defense sector perspective because we are going to understand a very important frigate ship of Indian Navy, that is INS Himgiri. So what are the essential features, who built it, what is the position of a frigate with respect to other aircraft or the ships in India? We'll understand this in our today's discussion. Isko रहने दो. नहीं रहने दो. Okay. So this is Himgiri. This is relevant from GS paper 3 perspective, that is science and tech. And in the fifth article, this is a design linked incentive scheme about a scheme looking to promote manufacturing of semiconductors in India, right? So DLI scheme is important from PIB perspective and hence we are going to cover the scheme in detail. वो जो लेकर आया था ना रामलाल, ले आओ उसको बोलो. हाँ. Now one of the office boys, he brought cold drink. I don't usually have cold drink, but since I have a bit of so I thought why not have cold drink, right? So this is the design linked incentive scheme and this is relevant from GS paper 3 perspective, that is economy, right? So we are going to cover these 5 articles today which are very important from our exams perspective, and let us start our today's discussion. थैंक यू. मेरा मन कर गया एकदम से तो मैं ले ही लिया. नहीं नहीं हो गया, थैंक यू. So these are the important schemes. The notes, you know it. ATS Live is the notes, the place where you can go and take the notes. Sorry for my a bit. I'm distracted because I'm hungry basically, and I did not find anything to eat. I only had tea. So good morning, Rupa, Marve, Geeta, Rishi, Abhishek, Chandru, Mahamim, Happy, Yashi, Stuti, Venus, Shushmita, Sasmita, Kharbudon, Kanchan, Yashi, Disha, Rajneesh, Reshma, Venkat, Dheeraj, Govind, Santwana, Rupa, Rishi. Sir, I was reading the 7 turning points of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I got a one word called as propulsion. Well, propulsion is something that propels you, which basically powers you, right? So an engine is a propulsion system. So for missiles also, we have different engines, and both of them, all of them, they propel or put missiles into motion, right? So this is the word propulsion here. Puneet, good morning. Chankoi, good morning. Govind, Disha, Yogesh, good morning all of you. Vin, good morning. What is this? I've seen this many times on social media, but I don't understand what is this. So let us start with this first article. This is a bit of an unfortunate news, so I did not wanted to cover this first, but what the hell, this is news, right? Well, Dheeraj will cover your doubt in the end, okay? Let me start the discussion. It is already very late, 11:16, and we haven't even started with the first article. This is the first article. It talks about electricity hazard rumor led to stampede in a Haridwar's Mansa Devi temple. So this is an unfortunate incident, but it happened in a particular temple. So this brought this particular temple in news. So let us understand this temple, okay? Now, Mansa Devi temple is a revered temple for Hindus located for goddess Mansa Devi, and it is a manifestation of goddess in form of Shakti. Shakti are the various reincarnations of goddess Durga. Now, it is situated in Haridwar, which you already know is in the state of Uttarakhand. Now, this temple is located on a top of a particular hill known as Bilwa Parvat, and it is a part of Shivalik Hills. You understand, Himalayas are categorized into different categories based on their altitudes, and the Himalayas which are located on the southernmost part of the Himalayas, these are called as lesser Himalayas or Shivaliks. So as a part of Shivalik, there is this one mountain, Bilwa Parvat, where this Mansa Devi temple is located, and Shivalik are the southernmost ranges of the Himalaya. Now it is also known as Bilwa Tirth, which is one of the 5 important tirth or pilgrimage that you can do in the city of Haridwar. So this is one of the 5 important pilgrimage sites, not in Uttarakhand, not in India, but in Haridwar. Please remember it. Now what you have to understand, this Mansa Devi temple, it represents the age of tradition of worshipping the form of Shakti, which is prevalent in the northern part of the country, and the main structure of this temple was built between 1811 to 1815 by a ruler, Maharaja Gopal Singh of Manimaraja, right? Now this temple complex is spanning across 100 acres of land, and it features traditional North Indian temple architecture. What is the name of North Indian temple architecture? Let me know in the Mansa Puja, right? What is the name of temple architecture in the north? Please let me know in the comments. Okay, Korean love sign. Okay, that's why K-pop and K-dramas are very popular these days. And also BTS. You know, only a month or two back, I found out that BTS, they actually sing in English. I thought they used to sing in Korean language, and I wondered how they have such a fan following. Yes, Nagara style of architecture is the architecture that is prevalent in the northern India as far as temples are concerned. Apart from Mansa Devi, this temple also houses the idol of Chandi Devi. So it is a dual shrine having the presence of Mansa Devi as well as goddess Chandi Devi, right? Now, let's see how many of you are able to solve this question. I have curated a very similar question based on the Chausat Yogini temple question in 2021. Well, last option is 1, 2 and 3. If you can't see, no problem. Well, with reference to Mansa Devi temple situated in Haridwar, consider the following statement. It is located at top of Bilwa Parvat, which is a part of Shivalik Hills, the southernmost range of Himalayas. Correct. It is dedicated to goddess Lakshmi and is one of the Panch Prayag sites of Uttarakhand. Incorrect. Both of these options are incorrect, right? Now, it was constructed during the reign of Maharaja Gopal Singh of Mani Maharaja in the 19th century. Correct. So, only second is incorrect, first and third are right. Therefore, option C is your right answer. Now, for the past few days now, I was wanting to have a soft drink. But as soon as I drink soft drink, I realize why I don't have a habit of drinking soft drink. Waste of money, waste of taste, everything. Yes, all of you are right this time. Disha, Abhishek, Santwana, Stuti, Venus, Rupa, Anuj Johar, Venkat. Yes, Venkat, right. Venkat, are you the same Venkat who come in the classes, in the paid classes? Sir, can't these temple will come to a disaster management? What you are trying to say, Dheeraj? Can you elaborate? This is the second article that we are going to do, and you can see Prime Minister Modi has paid his tribute to Shahid Udham Singh on his martyrdom day. And this becomes important from modern Indian perspective, right? Now, this is the image of modern Sardar Udham Singh, and you can see this quote. This actually is a very good quote, and I saw it in the internet, so I thought you should also remember it. What greater honor could be bestowed on me than the death for the sake of my motherland? This was the attitude of a person who was subjected for death sentence, and he took this death sentence as a blessing. He thought he was dying for his motherland, which wasn't even independent at that time. So you can understand the level of confidence, the level of maturity, the level of acceptance Sardar Udham Singh had towards his country. Well, that's the thing. He didn't kill General O'Dwyer. I will tell you in our today's discussion, this is the most conceived misconception that is there. He killed someone else. We will discuss it so that you won't get it wrong in front in the exam, right? Michael O'Dwyer, right? You're right, Marwai. He did not kill Reginald Dyer, he killed Michael O'Dwyer. Now, Shahid Udham Singh, Sardar Udham Singh is fondly called as, his martyrdom day was observed every year on July the 31st, and this commemorates his sacrifice against the struggle of Britishers for his own motherland, right? Now, let us understand first of all what he did. He was born in December in 1899 in Punjab, and he was a prominent Indian revolutionary. He was profoundly influenced and moved by the events that transpired in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and he also was moved by Nankana Sahib tragedy. Now, how many of you have seen movie on Sardar Udham Singh which starred Vicky Kaushal? Very good movie. Very moving movie. Actually, that movie shows the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, and it also shows how Sardar Udham Singh was affected by that tragedy. When at such a young age you see hundreds and thousands of people dead in front of you, it changes your entire life's perception. And especially those people who were killed in cold blood by a colonial rule. Yes, right. Now he became an active member of a Gadar party, which was a revolutionary group of overseas Indians. Have you studied Gadar party in your history lectures? If you haven't, this is a very important topic. Go and revise it today. Okay. Later on, he founded his own group, and it was called as Azad Party, and he was known for smuggling arms to aid Indian revolutionaries in India who used to fight against the British rule, and also he was ideologically influenced by Bhagat Singh. Right? Now, what you have to understand that how life events that transpired into his life changed his opinion of everything. Now, he was severely impacted by Jallianwala Bagh, which was a massacre of people held on 13th of April 1999, and it became a driving force behind his determination to throw away Britishers from India. And as an act of revenge, in 1940, he went to London, where he assassinated the person who was then the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Punjab when the Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened, and his name was Michael O'Dwyer. And Michael O'Dwyer was responsible for defending the actions of General Reginald Dwyer, who was the commanding officer of the troops who fired at innocent Indians then in the Jallianwala Bagh. So he killed Michael O'Dwyer, not Reginald Dwyer, as it has been misconcepted by many people. Understood the difference? So this you have to remember. Now, what happened in the aftermath when he shot Michael O'Dwyer? Now, he was arrested, tried, and later executed by the British police in London, but his actions had more of a symbolic impact. First of all, he was one of the revolutionaries who played a very important role in increasing the consciousness, in creating an active front against the Britishers, and he also in his life used many aliases, most notably being called as Muhammad Singh Azad, which in a way used to represent the communal unity between Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs against the foreign rule of British imperialism. Yes, Lala Hardyal was the founder of Ghadar party, and it was founded based on which incident? Komagata Maru incident. Let's see how many of you are able to solve this question. Well, he assassinated General Reginald Dwyer in London to avenge Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Incorrect, I have told you. He assassinated Michael O'Dwyer, who was the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab. He was the commanding officer of the troops. He did not die at the hands of Udham Singh, right? Udham Singh founded Azad Party and was named as with many aliases for communal harmony. Correct. He was associated with Ghadar Party and was ideologically influenced by Bhagat Singh. Correct. So we have to identify statements that are not correct. One is not correct. So option A is your right answer. Maja aaya? I told you yesterday to read the questions again and again. But like Majnu of welcome, you still want someone else's to bajao your game, right? Develop this habit. So it speaks more about our ancient architecture as compared to modern architecture, right? Now, this is an article which appeared in yesterday's newspaper. Very good article as far as your exams are concerned. Important from mains, important from prelims perspective. Okay. What this article is talking about? This article is talking about the present Tamil Nadu governor, Mr. R.N. Ravi, who is a former Intelligence Bureau Special Director. He was an IPS. And he has criticized the linguistic division of the states, calling it as a cause of creating second-class citizens in India, which has sparked the controversy regarding the language debate in India. Right? Now, he said that when many people, they go to different states for their work, for their studies, and whenever they are subjected to discrimination based on the language, this actually puts a person as a second-class citizen inside their own country. So this was what he wanted to say. And the reason behind it, he said that was the linguistic basis on which the states were reorganized in the independent India. So let us understand the historical background of it. Now, post-independence, India required an efficient and administrative setup. And therefore, India, although is a federal country, but Indian Parliament has the power to change the boundaries of the state under Article 3. Indian says that India is not a federation of the states, it is a union of the states. Therefore, it is not the states that have come together to form India, but it is India, and states have been divided for different purposes, primarily for administrative ease. So there was a need to further reorganize India into different states so as to promote better governance, promote convenience when it has come to with matters of administration, and to ensure cultural representation are there. So this was the reason why we needed to further reorganize the Indian states. Now, this was the map of India in January 26, 1950, at the date when the constitution became or came into force. Now, Indian states at that time were categorized into 4 different categories, 3 states, and last category was given to the Andaman and Nicobar Island. But this changed entirely after 1956. So, let us understand what happened. Once constitution came into force, Indian states were classified into 4 different categories. Part A meant that former British provinces like Central Province or MP, UP, Bombay, Madras, they were categorized into Part A states. Part B states were the large princely states that had signed instrument of accession like Hyderabad, Mysore, Pepsu, etc. Similarly, former chief commissioner provinces and smaller princely states like Bhopal, like Delhi, etc., they were categorized into Part C states. Whereas Part D, there was only Andaman and Nicobar Island, which came to be directly administered by the president. So this is how Indian states were categorized into 4 different categories back in 1951. Now there are only 2 categories. There is Indian states, there are union territories. Okay. Now this was 1951. Now, even before India's constitution came into force, there were many demands to divide the states on the basis of the languages. That the reason behind those demands was that one state or one language should be represented in a one particular state. So, Government of India, like yesterday I told you, whenever there is a problem, whenever there is a political problem in government usually tackles this problem by forming a separate commission and letting the commission give a report in their sweet time. So government also tried to tackle this controversy by forming different commission who will take a look into this matter. So first commission in this regard was Dhar Commission. In its report, it rejected the concept of linguistic division. It favored the concepts of administrative convenience and financial viability when it comes to reorganization of the state. This matter did not cool down, obviously, hence it led to formation of another committee. Here the committee included Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the Prime Minister, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the Deputy Prime Minister and the Home Minister of India, and a very senior Congress leader, Pattarabhi Sitaramaiah. So this committee has been popularly abbreviated as JVP committee. Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Pattarabhi Sitaramaiah. Now the committee in its report stated that the primary need of reorganizing the state should be considering national unity, considering security, considering economic viability. These are the primary considerations. We can consider language also, but these needs to be secondary. So it in a way indirectly rejected the concept of languages becoming the sole criteria of dividing the state, saying that these considerations should play a more important role. Understood? Now, the third commission was created for under the Justice Fazl Ali Commission. Now, this commission, making a U-turn, accepted language as the factor, but it also held that this won't be the only factor in reorganizing the states. While considering language as a factor, it recommended creation of 16 states and 3 union territories, and it formed the basis of an act passed in the Indian Parliament known as States Reorganization Act 1956. Now, what do you think led to this U-turn? In this first 2 commissions, I told you they rejected linguistic division. But what changed from 1948 to 1953 that led to another commission recommending language as a basis of the division among states? Any idea? Yes, Geeta is right. Potti Srimalu, who was a worker of Indian National Congress, the party in power in Madras, the party in power at centre. One of its workers conducted hunger strike until death. And upon his death, it created a huge public pressure in the state of Madras because Potti Srimalu was demanding a separate state for Telugu speaking people. So his death led to a political pressure on the government. So government tried to do away with this political pressure with another commission that accepted the language as a factor of division, right? So the major factors behind the state reorganization on the basis of language was ensuring linguistic and cultural identity. As I told you, death of Potti Srimalu, who was also a worker of the ruling party, created a lot of public pressure. Similarly, Language, as we have seen, often coincides with the cultural unity, and in many cases, whenever a people belonging to same language, whenever they are living in a state, it reduces the amount of divide in a particular area. So automatically it makes governance easier for the administration, right? So this was the primary reason why division of states or reorganization of states happened on the basis of language. So there were many states where the demand has arisen. Earlier there was Madras province. So people who spoke Telugu, they demanded a separate state. Similarly in Maharashtra, there were a substantial population of people who spoke Gujarati. Similarly, later on we see in Punjab, people who spoke Hindi or Haryanvi, they wanted a different state, right? So first linguistic state that came into existence was the Andhra Pradesh state, which led to bifurcation of the erstwhile state of Madras. So Tamil people got their own state, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra people, they got their own state, Andhra Pradesh, or Telugu people got their own state. Similarly, another factors like what tribals and ethnic considerations also played an important role to accommodate tribal uniqueness. So you saw states like Nagaland emerged from the erstwhile state of Pepsu. Similarly, economic aspirations have also played an important role. This started by the year of new millennium, when many states which saw that there was an opportunity to carve out a separate state, particularly belonging to those areas which have been ignored for a long time. These played an important role for states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Telangana to ensure more focused economic developments happen. Because Jharkhand, we understand, is a mineral rich state and it was a part of a lesser developed Bihar state. So politicians of Jharkhand, people who were natives of their area where there is Jharkhand today, they wanted a different state for themselves, right? Similarly, this was the case with also with Telangana and with Chhattisgarh, who wanted to move away from Madhya Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh respectively. So language here wasn't a factor because Telangana and Andhra both include people speaking Telugu, right? And administrative viability has also been the consideration. For example, Uttarakhand earlier was a part of Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand, as we understand, is there in Himalayas, right? So people of Uttarakhand used to feel that they were ignored by the larger administration of Uttar Pradesh, so they wanted a separate state conserving the tribal and hilly identity that is there in Uttarakhand. Similarly, security considerations played a very important role in bifurcation of the Jammu and Kashmir. As we have understood earlier also, Jammu and Kashmir had a separate constitution itself, which was provided under Article 370, and it provided autonomy to Kashmir. So government of India realized that this autonomy was a reason why there is so much public pressure or international pressure on providing or letting Jammu and Kashmir become an independent country, which you understand is detrimental to India's security interests, because first of all, Jammu and Kashmir is a part of India. How? It is legally a part of India. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir at the time of independence signed a document known as Instrument of Accession, which made Jammu and Kashmir an integral part of India. And as a condition of those Instrument of Succession, government agreed on a temporary basis to provide autonomy to Kashmir. But this continued for a long period of time. So in 2019, the present government did away with Article 370 and created two separate union territories from the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. The most important factor was factor of national security, right? So these are the total number of reasons that has played an important role in reorganization of the states, okay? Now, what happened in the State Reorganization Act of 1956? It came into force in August and it was based on the recommendation of SRC, which is the Fazl Ali Commission. And it marked the shift from colonial administrative units to a more linguistic and culturally aligned state. So now you will witness that different states in India have different languages and different culture. And this can be traced back to the State Reorganization Act of 1956. Now, what happened in that? That it replaced the earlier ABCD classification of Indian states, and now the territories of India was divided into two different categories, states and union territories. States have an autonomous existence, directly getting its power from the constitution, whereas union territories, as the name suggests, are territories ruled by the union government. And it was due to passing of 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, which did away with this classification and made changes to the Schedule 1st of the Indian Constitution. For example, Kerala was formed by merging of Travancore and Kochi territories with Malabar, whereas Bombay state was reorganized into two different states, Marathi speaking Maharashtra and Gujarati speaking Gujarat. Similarly, 1960, Maharashtra and Gujarat were bifurcated from Bombay. In 1966, the plains area where people used to speak Hindi and Haryanvi, it was bifurcated into Haryana, whereas the hilly areas of Punjab, it was merged into Himachal Pradesh, which was earlier an union territory, and from 1966 onwards, Himachal became a full-fledged state. Whereas the capital of both Punjab and Haryana went to Chandigarh, who now acts as a union territory, because both of these states wanted Chandigarh and no state wanted the other one to take Chandigarh. So union government took it, saying that this will remain as a union territory. Similarly, Himachal Pradesh was granted a full statehood in 1971. In 1972, these northeastern states came into existence, whereas in 1975, before Sikkim had become a protectorate state of India, now Sikkim became a full-fledged state in 1975. क्या बोल रहे हो ऋषि? क्यूटेस्ट ओनली गर्ल, आई बॉय ओनली स्मार्ट हैंडसम ब्रो. क्या बोल रहे हो ऋषि? अरे शुभम सर, हाय सर, हाउ आर यू डूइंग? कहां पहुंचे? You know, Shubham sir is on a visit to Himalayan states. Where have you reached, Shubham sir? How are you doing? Are you safe? Now let us come back to our discussion. Earlier, Goa was liberated from Portuguese rule, but in only 1987, Goa became a full-fledged state. Similarly, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, they were earlier union territories. Their status were upgraded to states. Similarly, in 2000, bifurcation of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar happened, and then came Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. Similarly, in 2014, after a long agitation, Telangana was separated from Andhra Pradesh, and in 2019, the last reorganization to India happened. That is, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir became two union territories, Jammu and Ladakh, right? So this is how states have been bifurcated, but that doesn't mean that there is no current demand right now to reorganize or make different states from India. For example, when Mayawati was the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, she proposed that Uttar Pradesh, which is a very large state when it comes to population, it is the most populous states of India, and it is also quite large geographically. So Mayawati proposed that why won't we divide Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh into 4 different states: Purvanchal, Paschimachal, Bundelkhand and Awadh. Similarly, Vidarbha, which is eastern part of Maharashtra where Nagpur etc. is, they have demanded a separate state for a long time. Other demands have emerged from northeast as well as south, particularly Rayalaseema region, the districts of Anantapur etc., where this is a drought prone area and the economic development of Rayalaseema is lesser as compared to coastal parts of Andhra Pradesh. Rayalaseema is very famous. Right now there is a Kia plant. Why was Kia plant set up there? Because the government of Andhra Pradesh wanted development to happen there. Okay, so these are the existing demands that are there. Now this was the question that was asked in UPSC. See how practical oriented this question is. You had to imagine the entire map of India, and then you'll have to say which is the road you will take when you travel from Kohima, which is in Nagaland, to Kottayam, which is in Kerala. So from Nagaland to Kerala, what is the shortest distance you can take? Okay, Kurnool, nice. Chittoor is also in Rayalaseema, right? I used to study in Vellore. Vellore is basically the border between Andhra and Tamil Nadu. So from Vellore, it was only 35 kilometers to Chittoor. And border from Vellore, border of Andhra was basically 2 to 3 kilometers only. Well, you can solve it, right? I am not going to make a map. My writing already is very bad. So you can imagine how bad my drawings must be like. Now, which is not the feature of Indian federalism? Well, answer I guess is 6. I marked that question right when I was giving prelims. I took my own sweet time. So I took the coastal route. From Kerala, if you take the coastal route, the amount of states that you need to cross is very less. From Kerala, you can enter into Tamil Nadu. From Tamil Nadu, you enter into Andhra. From Andhra, you enter into Odisha. So 4 states. From Odisha, you enter into West Bengal, 5. From West Bengal, you enter into Assam, 6. And 7th is Nagaland. Yes, this is incorrect. It is not a result of an agreement among federating units. This is true with respect to which country? United States of America. The word itself states that different states united to form what is known as United States of America. So they teach us how democracy is. Funny. Now this question. With reference to 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, consider the following statements. Well, it abolished the classification of ABCD and introduced classification of states and union territories. Correct. 7th Constitutional Amendment Act inserted a new schedule to union territories to the first time in constitution. Incorrect. It did not insert a new, it amended Schedule 1. The amendment also provided a constitutional mechanism for establishing of zonal councils under Article 263. Correct. So second is incorrect. First and third are right. Option B is your right answer. Yes, all of you. Most of you have gotten it right. Rajneesh, Shushmita, please take a look at it once again. Also Rishi, also Reshma. Disha also, please take a look at it once again. Now, there were many students who were asking whether do we have another batch. The answer is yes. We are going to start another batch from 8th of August. Right now, I am taking classes in July batch in economy. You will get another classes later on in economy whenever the classes of economy schedule for August batch. So you can still take admissions to it. You need to use the code ATS Live because this code helps you get discount. If you have any problem, you can call on the number which is flashing on the screen, 9240231070. Okay. Now let us move to this article. It talks about Project 17A. This is about a new stealth frigate that the Indian Navy has commissioned. This ship is known as INS Himgiri, and it has been one of the ships that has been manufactured by a PSU of Government of India known as Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers from Kolkata, right? So this is the organization which has made this ship in India. Now you understand this is a frigate, right? And it was a frigate under Nilgiri class of ship built under Project 17A. Now what is Project 7? Project 7I? Any idea? What does this make? This is Project 17A. What is Project 7I? And this will be the first ship in Nilgiri class which will be built by Garden Reach Shipbuilders. And the current INS Himgiri is a modern reincarnation of an earlier same kind of a ship frigate, but it was foreign manufactured. So Indian Navy has a habit of recycling the names of iconic ships. I told you India's first aircraft carrier was INS Vikrant. Similarly, it was made decommissioned, and the new indigenous aircraft carrier that was built, it was also given the name INS Vikrant. Similarly, INS Himgiri also, like INS earlier we have covered, many ships, their names have been recycled. Okay. Now this is designed by Warship Design Bureau and construction was supervised by Warship Overseeing Team in Kolkata, built by Garden Reach Ship Engineers Limited, okay, GRSC. Now, what you need to understand the features of the ship, it comes with advanced weaponry and sensors, which is equipped with state-of-art weapons and sensory, which is an upgrade over the earlier Project 17 Shivalik classes of ships. Is it true, Reshma? I have forgotten that part. If you can recheck and let me know, I might have made a mistake, no problem. So Project 7I is with respect to newer submarines that India is going to make, right? Conventional submarines with EIP. We have covered EIP before, air independent propulsion, right? So Project 7I is with respect to submarines, indigenously manufactured conventional submarines which have air independent propulsion. Whereas Project 17 is with respect to frigates. Project 17 is the earlier Shivalik class frigates. Project 17A is the newer, more advanced Nilgiri class frigates. And I've told you multiple times the different classifications of ships. Let me tell you once again. The biggest of ships in Indian Navy are aircraft carriers. What are aircraft carriers of Indian Navy? Please let me know. Followed by this are destroyers. Destroyers are big mean ships that carry dangerous missiles which can scare the shit out of your enemies. Similarly, after that comes frigates. Frigates are somewhat smaller in size as compared to destroyers but are equally lethal. After that comes corvettes, then come smaller missile ships, etc. Okay. So we are talking about frigates today. Yes, INS Vikramaditya, which has been brought from USSR, Russia, and INS Vikrant, as I've already told you, is India's first indigenous aircraft carrier. Can you name certain destroyers? Destroyers in India are named out of cities. INS Vishakhapatnam, INS Surat, INS Mumbai, INS Kolkata, INS Delhi, INS Chennai. Okay. Now we were talking about features. Similarly, it is powering of a propulsion system, that is the engine which powers this ship is a combined diesel and gas engine, Cordog propulsion setup, and it is powered by both diesel and gas engines. It drives controllable pitch propellers with an integrated platform management system. Okay. Similarly, the armaments includes a supersonic surface to surface air missile. Which is this missile? Can you guess it? Can you guess it? Well, this missile is none other than BrahMos. I have told you BrahMos should have a motto, made in India but tested in Pakistan. And which is this medium range surface to air missiles? Any idea? BrahMos should have a tagline, made in India, tested in Pakistan. Not Akash. Akash is a surface to air missile. In ships, Barak 8 are deployed. Barak 8 is a missile which India has manufactured jointly with Israel. Similarly, there are close-in weapon systems like guns which provide rapid fire capabilities to the ship. It carries more than 75% of indigenous content, and many smaller MSMEs also contributed in manufacturing of this ship. Now this question. Well, I'm a 90s born child, right? So whenever I used to watch news, or whenever my father was used to watch news and I used to look at the news, I used to see terrorist activities happening in India. And you know who is the culprit of terrorism into India? And one of the instances that affected me a lot was 26/11. We saw iconic buildings in India getting burned by terrorists. They killed hundreds of our innocent civilians. So it's only late that we have stuck them so hard in 2025. We should have stuck them so hard in 1999 in Kargil when we had the opportunity. We would have left more peacefully after that. Yes, it is a stealth frigate built under Project 17A. It is not a guided missile destroyer, okay? Now coming to this last article, it talks about design linked incentive scheme, okay? Now this 23 chip design projects have been approved to provide financial assistance under the project or scheme known as design linked incentive scheme. So जोर जोर से चीख चीख के scheme बता दिया जाए. How many of you remember that meme from फिर हेरा फेरी? Where Akshay Kumar pulls Rajpal Yadav by hair and says जोर जोर से चीख चीख के scheme बता दे सबको. So let's lighten the mood. So this is the design linked incentive scheme. It wants to promote domestic innovation and ensure self-reliance when it comes to design in semiconductors. And it offers financial incentives and infrastructural support to companies who are looking to do just that, right? Now the objective of this scheme is that it wants to nurture and support at least 20 Indian companies who are involved in semiconductor design and help them achieve turnover of at least 1500 crores within 5 years after they get admitted to the scheme. And this will enable India to have a significant indigenization of semiconductor content. It will help us reduce import dependence and also will help enhance value addition in the electronic sector. I have told you multiple times, in the electronic sector, we are major assembler of mobile phones. But when it comes to manufacturing of smaller components that goes inside your mobile phones, we do not have the self-sufficiency and we import them in large numbers from other countries. So to improve the value addition in electronic sector, which is about 15 to 20% right now, and government wants to increase it to 35 to 40%. And one of this component is design linked incentive scheme. Now the areas which is going to target is integrated circuits, chipsets, chips, etc., semiconductors, IP cores. All of these components will be made here or designed here at least, and the agency which is going to implement this is CDAC, which is a part of Ministry of Electronics and Program Implementation. So computer engineers would know this institute. This institute also is responsible for manufacturing supercomputers in India. It is there in Pune, it is there in Noida, very near to where I live. Very big institute, CDAC, and it provides diploma courses to computer engineers. Now the eligibility criteria of companies who can become a part of the scheme or get benefits from the government, it is open to Indian startups, MSMEs, domestic companies who are engaged in semiconductor design. The applicants must maintain domestic ownership status for minimum of 3 years, and to claim the annual incentives, companies must meet the specified sales criteria every year. Right? Now what happens is that more than 50% of capital should be owned by Indian resident if they have to qualify for the domestic ownership criteria. Similarly, an applicant who fails to meet the net sale threshold in a particular year, they won't get the benefit for that year, but next year if they achieve the threshold, they'll automatically get the benefits, right? So this is how it ensures that only eligible people get the benefits of the scheme. Now the key components that will be designed here includes chip design infrastructure support. So establishment of India Chip Center will be done by CDAC to provide access to EDA tools and design infrastructure. Similarly, product design linked incentive financial support will be tied to milestones of product development. The entire support or benefits won't be provided at one go, rather than will be provided in stages. Similarly, deployment linked incentive, which means incentive based on the successful commercialization and manufacturing of these components, will also be given. So you can understand, it will help you design, it will help you formulate the product, and it will also help you in mass manufacturing and commercialization of the product. So entire supply chain of the production is covered. Now let's see how many of you are able to solve this question. Thank you, Rishi. Well, I realized now after blaming Pakistan, the mood became a bit somber. So I wanted to cool it down. Well, D is none of the above, by the way. The scheme supports at least 50 Indian companies. Incorrect, I told you at least 20. The CDAC under the Department of Science and Technology. Incorrect, it comes under Ministry of Electronics and Ministry of Electronics and IT. The scheme allows 100% foreign ownership in applicant. Incorrect. And we have to identify how many are not correct. All these three are incorrect, so option C is your right answer. फिर नहीं पढ़े क्वेश्चन तुम लोग. Only Kharbudon did. Disha Patel, DP. Why incorrect, DP? DP, RP. Journal of Aspirant is Benji, right? Venus again caught you, right? So this brings an end. The notes will be available here after a few minutes. And this also brings a tiring end to my week. So I'll see you again on Monday with sufficient rest. Okay? Yes, continental plate. Which are sufficient conditions for continental plate to subduct? Well, this actually happens. How do you think fold mountains have emerged in different parts of the globe? Well, I do not recall the sufficient conditions. I have not revised geography for a long time. So you can Google it, or let me Google it and help you out. So if I can Google it, why it's better you can yourself Google it, okay? So bye bye. Have a very great weekend. Let's see each other again on Monday. Bye bye. सर कल भाई संडे काम कराओगे क्या मुझसे? मुझे भी तो चाहिए रेस्ट. बाय बाय. वो मैं कर दूंगा कवर. I'll cover it on Monday. Whatever is there tomorrow important, I'll cover it. चलो बाय बाय.